Had Bob Costas on yesterday, and he was talking about gambling. His dad, of course, used to be a bookie.
Oh, I know.
And I said to him, okay, you got one Hall of Fame vote. Pete Rose, Roger Clemens, Barry Bonds. You know who he took?
If he had one, he should have taken Rose. Did he take him?
Yeah. Rose, Bonds, Clemens.
Yeah, I can buy that. Yeah, I think the same order. See, if you take Bonds, you got to take Clemens. So if you only have one, it's they're both grouped, Bonds and Clemens, with the same steroid brush.
Yeah.
So it's hard to differentiate. Yeah, the fact that Rose isn't in the Hall of Fame, I listen. I mean, we all know that Rose at times, we understand. He's not a choir boy. We get that. And Rose, was bad what he did. But Rose bet as a manager, not as a player, and we're putting him in the Hall of Fame as a player. Plus, Rose never bet on his team to lose. And if anybody thinks it's the same thing, they're nuts. Either the 1919 White Sox bet on their team to lose. Rose never did. Rose is too competitive to ever want to lose. So he bet. So to me, that's a huge difference. Now, I don't know how you feel about it. Betting is bad anyway if you're involved in the sport. I'm not denying that. But there is a major difference. I'm going to throw the game to lose. Then you know what? I'm going to bet on myself because I'm going to win. There's a major difference.
Yeah, but I can't put Pete in until I put Shoeless Joe Jackson in.
That's fair, too.
I mean, he had 375 in a series where, he was, reportedly took money. I mean, imagine if... Yeah. I mean, imagine if he didn't take money, what he would have hit.
That's an excellent point. Excellent point. Joe Jackson had a great World Series. The problem is he took $500, but he had a great World Series. So how do you? It's very hard. That is very, very hard to differentiate. But listen, does anybody think that Pete Rose? And here's the other thing that drives me crazy. We got everything from the Big Red Machine in that Hall of Fame. We got Pete's cleats. We got his bat that he used to beat Ty Cobb. We have everything that you want. We got the hitting streak when he hit in 44 straight. Everything you want about Pete Rose. You want his glove. You want his uniform. You want cleats. You got everything you want about Pete Rose. Oh, but by the way, we're not going to put Pete in. So we can walk through Cooperstown and see everything that has got paraphernalia that relates to the Big Red Machine and Pete Rose, but Pete doesn't get a day. Now, I really,
But don't you think he's benefited more, Chris, by not being in the Hall of Fame? Because if Pete got in the Hall of Fame, no one would care.
He does keep his name in circulation.
He's made more money by not being in the Hall of Fame.
You can make the argument.
Yeah.
Because people are so curious and they feel that. But let's face it. I'm going to ask you a question. Right. Should Pete be in the Hall of Fame?
I view it as he cheated in grad school, so I can't take away his undergraduate degree. Until if I think that he bet on baseball as a player, then I would not have him in the Hall of Fame. Now, I've said this before on my show. My bookie used to take some of Pete's bets when I used to bet. So I knew what Pete was doing and how frequent he was doing it and how bad he was. Do I think that he bet as a player? Absolutely. Is there any proof? No, not that I've heard. But as a manager, I can't take away what I saw on the field. It's like Reggie Bush with a Heisman Trophy. What he did off the field, he still won a Heisman on the field. You can take it away, he's still a Heisman Trophy winner.
That's a good point.
And
yeah,
Pete,
that's a good point.
I got to see him. I grew up in Cincinnati. I mean, we loved Pete. We wanted to wear number 14. We slid head first, like everything about it. Pete never read the room well, Chris. If he read the room, he would have thrown himself on the sword and said to Bud Selig,
100%.
He just needed to do this. And I've talked to Commissioner Selig about it. I'm going to go through the minor leagues on my own dime and talk about the dangers of gambling. I'm going to do that because, you know what? I need to give back to the game. Pete just never thought that he 100%. Had to lower himself, and I think he would have gotten in.
I agree. No, that you're right. I mean, if Pete in 1990 threw himself at the mercy of the court, we would not be having this discussion.
No, we would not.
And Pete didn't do that. No. And Pete, but I could also make the argument, it has been 30 years.
Yes.
He's 80 years old.
Yeah.
Really?
I think he gets in.
Is,
I think it's posthumously, Chris. If he gets in, it's going to be posthumously.
well, they didn't put Joe. You made a great point. They never put Joe Jackson in, and he's been dead forever. 1951, whatever it was.
Yeah, absolutely.
Columbia, South Carolina.
Yeah.
So they didn't put him in. Here's the thing that always bothered Pete. I had him in studio a couple of years ago. That's fascinating. When his kid made his debut in Major League Baseball, they wouldn't give Pete a pass.
Yeah.
He had to buy a ticket.
Yeah.
No, hold on now.
I know.
It's Pete's kid.
Pete also had money on the game, though, Chris.
Yeah. Maybe he did.